YouTube, chicks. Get ready. You know what to do, chicks.
Listen, Chick Smooth.
Hey, Chick Smooth. Appreciate all the coverage that you've been doing. I've been watching your shit for a while. I just subscribed to your shit.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy BREAD Fox reporting from the Chicks universe. And today we are talking about the Drake and Kendrick situation. Yes, I know it seems like this beef is never ever going away. The way it's looking, it looks like we're going to do this thing at least 2 to 3 years strong before we actually get it resolved. Now, what we're talking about specifically today is that there are new updates as far as the lawsuit that Drake and his team filed against UMG. Now, one thing that I do want to mention is that pretty much what this court case was about today was pretty much about whether or not Drake's team was allowed to move forward with discovery. Now, for those of you who are not too privy to what legal terms are, discovery is pretty much when each side gathers all the evidence that they have and they give it to the other side so that the other side can see all of the evidence that they have and the case that's being built. That's just how the legal system works. And also in that legal system, you're not allowed to hold anything back. Now, you might wonder, okay, so why is UMG trying to stop them from doing that? Well, UMG is pretty much saying that since this case has no merit, and when I say no merit, it means this case is not really justified. It's a bunch of BS, and they feel as though they're going to be able to get it dismissed without any problem. They are saying, since we're going to get it dismissed anyway when the time comes, it doesn't make sense that we're going to start giving them stuff that we may deem as proprietary information because we're entitled to via discovery if this case has no merit. So what they're asking for is for the discovery to be stayed. Now, when the discovery is stayed, it means the judge puts the discovery on hold until a decision is made, for instance, on something as if the case will be dismissed. Now, that's pretty much what this court case was about. But there are a few things that I do want to point out that I feel like is going over a lot of people's heads. One of the main things that I saw in this case that may be going over some people's heads is that Drake's team is now openly shifting the narrative for why they are actually bringing forward this lawsuit. Now, if you guys remember in the beginning, when Drake initially brought this lawsuit, he tried to save face and made it seem as though, hey, I'm not suing because of what Not Like Us was saying. I'm not suing because you're trying to make me look bad as a pedophile. I'm suing because UMG is conspiring with other companies to make it look as though I'm losing a battle in order to hurt my brand. That was the narrative that they stuck to. That's the narrative that they've been pushing for the last 12 months. Now, I'm saying 12 months as an exaggeration, right? Now they're openly shifting the narrative to another lane, and they're doing it very swiftly so that people may not catch on to what's going on. Or, you know, sometimes you argue with somebody and then halfway through the argument, before you know it, the entire argument has changed. So now they're openly saying, hey, we're suing because of Not Like Us. Now, let's go over some of the things that they said during the court case. Luckily, although this court case is not being televised, we do have press inside the building. For those of you who may not be familiar with Inner City Press, Inner City Press is a journalist who took off and pretty much got a lot of fame and attention during the 6ix9ine case. Yeah, that was the white guy that was going play by play, letting us know everything that was going on inside that courtroom. So today we had the luxury of having him in the courtroom and giving us a play by play so that we can see exactly what was going on. So I'm going to mention some of the important things that he tweeted out to let us know about this court case. Now, the court case itself seemed as though it only lasted about an hour to 2 hours, and there wasn't too much back and forth. There was a little bit of back and forth and adjournment, and then they pretty much closed out the session for the day and then said that they're going to reconvene June 30th at 2 p.m. Now, let's go over some of the important things that they said. The first thing is that pretty much Drake's lawyer goes on and he says they have sent a Rule 11 letter about only 5 paragraphs of our lengthy complaint about the use of streaming farms. We have exchanged letters. We intend to withdraw those, but it's a tiny portion of our complaint. Now, this is big. Why? Because the entire narrative of why Drake has been trying to say that he's suing is that everybody's conspiring against him to make him look bad and make him look like he lost a battle that he didn't lose. And the way that they were doing that was by using streaming bots.
I Because the narrative that they trying to spin in this lawsuit is that UMG's created incentives for reactors to react in the way that we did, and that's why the song went up. When it's like, no, regardless of anything UMG did, we was gonna react the same way that we did,
bro.
Because
we did the same way with Drake, bro. When his shit was booming, bro, I'm hearing bars and I'm lit, bro. I get lit, bro. That's me, bro. You feel me?
I've said this to a few people privately, but I think I've said this publicly too. I think one of the ways how Drake views this whole thing is that he really don't think that song is as lit as
what was I saying earlier?
But it is though.
And
you feel me?
You know why I think he doesn't? Yo, Drake lives in a world that is created for him.
Right.
He's never heard that song outside. Like, of course he's played it, but like he's never walked into a party and niggas doing all this shit.
Yeah.
So when he's seeing that, he's like, yo, what's so special about this shit? You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And
so he can't fathom that, bro.
It's that
going
lit.
up. Yeah.
On me.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, even with the bot argument, I'm like, I do think it's negligible, right? Like, I think Universal probably put a little extra sauce on every song that's going. You get what I'm saying?
So they pretty much put out this narrative out there that Kendrick Lamar has been using a bunch of streaming bots to inflate his number, make himself look bigger than he was, and that's the reason that they were suing. Now, they've made it very clear that they are no longer suing for that. In fact, they're going to actually withdraw that claim in their lawsuit. So now they're not even hiding the fact that, hey, we're literally suing because we lost this battle really bad, and the damage that song had to our artists, creating irrefutable damage to the point where now we feel as though we have to sue, which is crazy because I guess some might actually take this as, okay, this is literally the white flag. This is definitely Drake surrendering, and this is pretty much it. Another thing that he says is that Drake's lawyer comes on there and then he speaks about wanting to add to the lawsuit the Super Bowl. Now, a lot of people speculated like, hey, all this nonsense about Drake saying that he's suing for conspiring is BS. And in fact, I'm pretty sure if Kendrick performs that song at the Super Bowl, they're going to sue him for the Super Bowl as well. That was like the running joke, the running narrative. However, a bunch of Drake fans said, come on, bro, that's not going to happen. Well, guess what? It's literally happening. So this is what his lawyer actually said. Drake's lawyer goes, their motion cites previous songs, so we intend to amend and address those. And the Super Bowl halftime show, it was more defamation. They continue to promote the song after they've been informed about the harm. So there you go. You can see that they're actually trying to amend the lawsuit, so we can expect very soon to see an amended lawsuit that also includes the Super Bowl halftime performance from Kendrick Lamar performing Not Like Us. Then Drake's lawyer then says, we intend to depose a number of people. And then the judge says, you propose fact discovery closing in October? And Drake's lawyer responds, it's fast, but we are facing harm and want to move forward. So what they're saying is pretty much they're trying to get this thing wrapped up as soon as possible, and they really, really want to move forward with this lawsuit because they feel as though they have a very, very strong case. It's interesting here is that they intend to depose a number of people. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see who they target as far as their deposition. If they target Kendrick Lamar himself, are we actually going to see Drake take the stand? Are they going to be targeting Lucien Grange? What's going to really happen from this situation? This might actually shape out to be one of the greatest business lawsuits of all time. For those of you who are fans of the culture, you may not be a fan of this, but for those of you who like all that messy stuff, man, sit back, enjoy, and grab the popcorn. Now, the judge then decides to make her ruling, right? The judge goes, Drake is a top charting artist. He claims Not Like Us is intended to convey the message that plaintiff is a pedophile. There are pleadings April to May 28th. UMG argues discovery is premature and sought to adjourn. The judge pretty much summarizes what the case is about in this. And in this, the judge puts it on the record, makes it very clear cut. So at the end of the day, nobody can no longer beat around the bush. In the words of the judge, Drake is a top charting rap artist. He claims Not Like Us is intended to convey the message that plaintiff is a pedophile. There you go. That is why he is suing. Nobody can no longer say different. It is set in stone. He claims. Drake claims. So there's no more beating around the bush. Take it for what you want to take it for. Now, the judge then goes on to close out the session and adjourns the case until June 30th at 2 p.m. This is exactly what she says. I'll set an argument on the motion to dismiss for June 30th at 2 p.m. 6 months for discovery seems aggressive if 56 people were disclosed and might be deposed, so confer and file a new proposal. So pretty much the judge wraps up the session. That's it. We're not going to know any more until June 30th at 2 p.m. Of course, as you guys saw, we should be on the lookout for that amended lawsuit that will include the Super Bowl performance from Kendrick Lamar. Now, one thing I do want to add to this as well is, these blogs and these newspapers always want to sell copies of whatever they're dishing out, right? So they may hype up things to be a little bit bigger than they actually are. Now, initially when I saw the headline, it said Drake's lawyer now has access to all of Kendrick Lamar's recording contracts, recording promotional deals, etc. However, after digging through these articles, as well as digging through the actual case file and going through the actual minutes, it's clear that nowhere does it state that Drake's team is going to have access to Kendrick Lamar's financial contracts. Why? Because as it said inside of the document, and as you guys saw his lawyer say, he is no longer suing because he feels as though there were bots. If he was still suing because he felt as though UMG was paying for bots, then he more than likely would be able to tap into that financial information. However, since now the case is simply a defamation case, it actually wouldn't even make any sense to show any of Kendrick Lamar's contractual obligations based off of the song. They would just be looking to show that, okay, this is how the song has damaged my client's brand. Now, for them to get information on how it damaged their client's brand, that would not require any financial information from Kendrick Lamar. However, what Drake's attorney will actually request in disclosure is completely up to them. So who knows? Maybe somehow, some way, they may be able to get that information. So let me know what you guys think. Do you think Drake is taking this thing too far? And is this like one of the softest things ever? Or do you feel as though he has the right to address the situation in legal court because it's something that's doing harm to his brand and to his character? Let us know in the comments. Also, make sure you like and subscribe. It's your boy BREAD Fox reporting from the Chigs Universe. And as always, till next time.